building prosperity, restoring hope is not merely aspirational. It reflects the tangible transformation we have delivered for the Ghanaian people. Mr. Speaker, our economy has grown significantly. In 2025, Ghana's GDP is expected to reach $113 billion, an increase from $83 billion at the end of 2024. This has placed Ghana among the top 10 largest economies in Africa. Mr. Speaker, average GDP growth for the first 3 quarters of 2025 is reported at 6.1%. But growth means nothing without discipline. Our primary surplus reached 2.6% of GDP, far exceeding our target of 1.5%. Mr. Speaker, we closed our fiscal deficit at 3.1%, well below the projected 3.8%. Mr. Speaker, this is not prudent governance. It is promise-keeping, and it has benefited households and businesses because we have borrowed less and spent more responsibly. Interest rates have fallen, confidence has returned, private businesses are breathing again. Mr. Speaker, the 19th of December 2022 will go down as one of the darkest days in Ghana's economic history. On that day, Ghana declared its inability to honor its debt obligations. We declared a debt default and placed a moratorium on both domestic and foreign debt repayments. Following this, we entered a protracted and complex debt restructuring process. Ghana's debt became a shackle on our economic progress, dragging our nation down into hardship and despair. Looking at Ghana's restructured debt profile, it is clear that those who negotiated on our behalf were only intent on kicking the can down the road. With the largest debt repayments scheduled, interestingly, between 2025 and 2028. Mr. Speaker, we confronted this crisis with action, not rhetoric. We established sinking funds, we restructured obligations, and we pursued bilateral agreements. Mr. Speaker, the result: public debt fell by 82.1 billion Ghana cedis and took our debt to GDP from 61.8% to 45.3%. Mr. Speaker, this is one of the sharpest reductions of debt in Ghana's history. Mr. Speaker, just this year, after the New Year celebration on January 2nd, when people were still recovering from hangovers, we settled a US 709 million euro bond ahead of schedule. We settled a US dollar 709 million euro bond ahead of schedule, completing the US 1.4 billion in debt service that was meant for 2025. Mr. Speaker, and the world noticed, Fitch, Moody's, and Standard & Poor's all upgraded Ghana's credit ratings, the first triple upgrade in many years. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's credibility is restored. Ghana is rising. The heaviest burden we inherited was the very high inflation rate, which was silently eroding every household's purchasing power. It peaked at 54.1% at the end of 2022, and it declined to 23.5% by the end of 2024. Mr. Speaker, we treated this with urgency. Through fiscal consolidation, currency stabilization, and disciplined monetary policy, inflation fell from 23.5% at the end of 2024 to 3.8%. Mr. Speaker, inflation fell from 23.5% at the end of 2024 to 3.8% over 13 consecutive months by January 2026. Mr. Speaker, and very interesting, food inflation, which had been the main driver of the upward pressure on inflation, fell by 26.6 percentage points. Inflation for locally produced goods fell by 22.6 percentage points. Mr. Speaker, these are not just statistics. These translate into the reality of a parent being able to put food on the table for their children. It translates into the reality of businesses thriving and creating opportunities for Ghana's young people. Mr. Speaker, petrol prices dropped from 15.2 Ghana cedis to 10.7 cedis per liter. And only recently, it dipped below the 10 cedi mark to 9.97. Diesel fell from 15.4 to 11.3. And this brought relief to our nation's 3.7 million car owners and the tens of millions of Ghanaians who depend on transport daily. Mr. Speaker, to the interesting part. Exchange rate volatility has long been at the heart of hardship in Ghanaian households. We made currency stability a priority, and Mr. Speaker, we have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we did not arrest the dollar. We strengthened the cedi to put up a good fight against the other currencies. Mr. Speaker, we did not arrest the dollar. We strengthened the cedi to put up a good fight against the other currencies. And I'm pleased to report to this House that the cedi appreciated by 40.7% against the US dollar and by 30.9% against the British pound and by 24% against the euro. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's economic turnaround is broad-based and comprehensive. All sectors of the Ghanaian economy have witnessed remarkable improvement in our first year in office. And most importantly, Ghana's economy has surpassed the 100 billion mark for the first time. And as I said, it is projected to place Ghana among the top 10 largest economies in Africa. Mr. Speaker, our reserves currently stand at $13.8 billion from $8.9 billion at the end of 2024. This covers 5.7 months of import. A key driver of this development has been the establishment of the Ghana Gold Board. By formalizing gold exports, we have reduced smuggling. We have increased recorded exports in the artisanal and small-scale mining sector from 63.6 tons to 103 tons. And we've channeled that foreign exchange into our economy. Mr. Speaker, when the cedi stabilizes, imported inflation falls, businesses can plan better, and household incomes improve. Mr. Speaker, as global uncertainty grows, it is necessary for us to reduce our country's exposure to external shocks, break the cycle of economic downturns, and safeguard our macroeconomic stability. Just last Wednesday, 25th February 2026, the Minister for Finance presented the Ghana Accelerated National Reserve Accumulation Policy to this House. Mr. Speaker, This policy seeks to strengthen our country's external resilience by increasing our international reserves to 15 months of import cover by the end of 2028, supporting long-term structural transformation while safeguarding macroeconomic stability. Mr. Speaker, it is forecast that gold prices will remain high over the next 3 years. And so this presents us with a unique opportunity to build an economic war chest to withstand any global economic shocks, to secure our macroeconomic stability and improve the standards of living of our citizens and build a lasting prosperity for future generations. This is what the GANRAP policy seeks to achieve. Mr. Speaker, we abolished nuisance taxes that were levied on Ghanaians between 2017 and 2024. These included the e-levy, the betting tax, the emission tax, the COVID levy, and so forth. Mr. Speaker, we have reformed VAT comprehensively. One, by abolishing the 1% COVID-19 levy, decoupling GetFund and NHIL from VAT, reducing the effective VAT rate from 21.9% to 20%, raising the VAT threshold to 750,000 Ghana cedis to exclude petty businesses, and extending zero rating on textiles up to 2028. Mr. Speaker, these fiscal reforms have effectively put 6 billion Ghana cedis back into the pockets of Ghanaians. Interest rates have fallen from above 30% to currently between 18 and 20%, freeing up credits for businesses and households. And according to the Ghana Statistical Services, over 1 million Ghanaians have found employment between Q1 and Q3 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, and 950,000 Ghanaians have escaped multidimensional poverty over the same period. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to report that our external position has strengthened significantly. By December 2025, our current account recorded a surplus of 9.1 billion, representing 8.1% of our GDP. This is a remarkable increase from 1.5 billion or 1.8% of GDP in 2024.
These achievements have been driven by robust gold, cocoa, and non-traditional exports, and increased remittance inflows. This improvement demonstrates that our economy is gaining strength and resilience again on the global stage. We've moved decisively from planning to action on our flagship 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program. This was officially launched in 2025, and this transformative initiative is designed, 1, to unlock round-the-clock economic activity, 2, deepen our value chains across key sectors, 3, boost productivity and support export growth, and 4, create quality jobs in agriculture, manufacturing, logistics, and services. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank this August House. On 6 February 2026, this House passed the 24-Hour Economy Authority Bill. This has established the regulatory framework and the legal mandate that was necessary for full implementation. Last week, at the cabinet meeting held, I had the honor of signing this historic legislation into law. All is now set for takeoff. This is the boldest economic transformation initiative in Ghana's recent history. Mr. Speaker, in this year's budget, 110 million has been allocated to begin the setting up and implementation of the 24-Hour Economy Authority. These resources will enable businesses to operate beyond traditional business hours. They will attract investment through strategic partnerships with the Development Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, and they will strengthen the foundations for sustained growth and job creation, especially for our young people. This
is about building prosperity and restoring our people's hope through concrete action. Mr. Speaker, a nation that does not learn from past mistakes cannot get out of the cycle of problems that impose hardships on its citizens. We've just begun to emerge from the most devastating economic crisis in our nation's recent history. This crisis was triggered by general financial indiscipline, huge deficits, and massive debts that were occasioned by persistent and unbudgeted expenditure to meet the ends of convenient politicking. In the last week, we have had to take the painful but necessary decision to revise the producer price of cocoa to achieve competitive pricing and resolve the acute liquidity challenges in the sector. Mr. Speaker, failure to do this as others did and left a debt of 32 billion for this government to pay. Failure to do this would have meant borrowing billions in borrowed funds. Mr. Speaker, this unplanned expenditure would have taken us right back to the very devastating economic problem we have only recently begun to escape. So, Mr. Speaker, while fully understanding the concerns and protests of our farmers, I can firmly assure them that the reforms announced by government will see a total transformation of the cocoa sector. And it will guarantee them a fair and transparent price that enables them to meet the cost of producing the commodity and making decent margins. Mr. Speaker, the difference between economic hardship and avoiding the same is the exercise of sound economic judgment. And I'm determined to take decisions that ensure our collective well-being and avoid the suffering of all our citizens. These are difficult decisions to take, but Mr. Speaker, I had to take them. Mr. Speaker, we are bringing legislation to this House to tighten our procurement processes by banning sole source contracts, except in exceptional circumstances. We will also bring legislation to this House to make it mandatory to seek Parliament's prior approval before any government asset or property is leased out or sold. This includes lands and state enterprises. Mr. Speaker, last Tuesday, I caused the Minister of Finance to lay before this House the Value for Money Office Bill. This is a landmark measure, a fulfillment of yet another campaign promise to the good people of Ghana. And this is designed to decisively end waste, inflated contracts, abandoned projects, and chronic cost overruns that have for far too long drained the public purse. All these measures are intended to improve public trust and accountability. Mr. Speaker, in January 2025, we inherited an energy sector on the brink of collapse that had been precipitated by a severe financial crisis. The sector was burdened with a staggering debt of 80 billion Ghana cedis, strengthening the operational viability of key power producers. The 500 million World Bank partial risk guarantee, a critical risk mitigation instrument that was established in 2015 during my first term to safeguard the nearly 8 billion of private sector investment that was put into the offshore Cape Trade Points field, had been fully drawn down and exhausted due to prolonged non-payment for gas consumed. Mr. Speaker, at the distribution level, the Electricity Company of Ghana was plagued by high commercial and technical losses, collecting only 62% of the energy it purchased from generators and declaring less than 50% of its collection into the cash waterfall mechanism. Mr. Speaker, the result was severe liquidity shortfalls and power challenges throughout 2024. In the petroleum sector, years of policy inconsistency, regulatory inefficiencies, a lack of transparency, prolonged licensing processes, and unresolved legal disputes over field unitization had eroded investor confidence. Consequently, crude oil production declined by approximately 32% between 2019 and 2024. It fell from 71.4 million barrels per day to 48.2 million barrels. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to announce that as of December 31st, 2025, government has fully repaid and restored the entire 500 million World Bank guarantee, including interest. This has reinstated the facility in full and reaffirmed Ghana's standing as a credible and reliable partner on the global stage. Mr. Speaker, I can also announce that we are paying for every gas we are consuming today. In addition, between January and December 2025, through carefully coordinated policy actions, the government settled all outstanding gas invoices that were owed to ENI and Vitol, amounting to approximately $500 million. And so Ghana is now fully up to date with its gas consumption obligations to the Sankofa partners. And I'm pleased to announce that the 2026 budget has made adequate provision to ensure timely payments for all liquid natural gas that we consume going forward. Mr. Speaker, to ensure equity and fairness, the government has also held constructive engagements with Tullow Oil and the Jubilee Field partners, and we've reached a comprehensive roadmap to guarantee full payment for all gas that is consumed. This approach supports reliable nationwide electricity generation and accelerates industrial growth. Engagement with upstream partners has resulted in increased gas production, guided by a clear national vision to rapidly scale up domestic gas supply and reduce reliance on expensive liquid fuels. Mr. Speaker, beyond clearing inherited arrears, a robust framework has also been established to strengthen and monitor implementation of the cash waterfall mechanism. Another major milestone was the operationalization of the ECG's single holding account, which is overseen jointly by the Ministry of Energy and Green Transitions and the PURC. This intervention has significantly reduced revenue leakages, and it has enhanced ECG's capacity to meet its payment obligations. To address the high cost of power, the government has successfully renegotiated existing power purchase agreements. Engagements with the 9 independent power producers have resulted in a 250 million immediate savings and 1.1 billion of legacy debt restructured for payments between the period 2026 and 2028. These revised agreements will be submitted to Cabinet, and I'm pleased to inform you, Mr. Speaker, will be brought here to Parliament for ratification. Mr. Speaker, under the Rural Electrification Program, 200 out of the 400 targeted communities have been connected to the national grid, with a further 100 at various stages of completion. The national electricity access for Ghana today stands at 89.05. We are committed to ensuring that every Ghanaian has access to reliable, affordable electricity. It is worrying that the Electricity Company of Ghana continues to experience high power losses, with reports indicating that around 25% of generated power is lost. To address this phenomenon and anchor the gains we have made, adopting private sector participation, particularly in billing and collection, is the most effective way to significantly reduce these losses. Cabinet has approved the multiple lease method for concessions in the distribution utilities, and work is ongoing to implement this critical reform. Mr. Speaker, the Bui Power Authority has completed an additional 50 megawatts of solar power. In the distributed solar sector, 30 megawatts was achieved through rooftop installations, bringing our total installed capacity to 250 megawatts of solar, and this represents 5% of renewable energy in our entire generation mix. A few months ago, I broke ground for a 200 megawatt solar power project at the Dawa Industrial Zone, with the first 100 megawatts scheduled for completion in December 2026. The Ministry of Energy and Green Transitions is constructing 35 mini-grids to serve 47 islands and lakeside communities in the Oti, Savannah, and Bono East regions. The ministry will also supply 12,000 new smart net meters from the end of the first quarter of this year, 2026. And under the off-grid solar home system for public institutions, delivery of materials for the first phase of 350 systems has commenced. It means that public institutions are going to be fitted with solar to reduce their power consumption. Mr. Speaker, as part of the last mile electrification effort to achieve 99.98% universal access by 2030, the ministry has mainstreamed mini-grids into the National Electrification Scheme. Consequently, a feasibility study for the Afram Plains North District was completed for 100 communities to receive solar power, bringing the total number of islands and lakeside communities in the Afram Plains North and South to 150 that are ready for mini-grid solar electrification. I'm pleased to announce that the African Development Bank has committed to providing $100 million to fund the construction of renewable energy-based mini-grids for these communities. Mr. Speaker, we've signed a memorandum of understanding with the Jubilee and Tenfield partners to commit another $2 billion to additional investment in the Jubilee field. This will include drilling up to 20 new wells, the first wells being drilled in more than 9 years. Mr. Speaker, there's a second memorandum of intent with the OCTP partners, that's ENI and Vitol, to commit $1.5 billion of additional investment in the OCTP field in the Cape 3 Points Block 4 contract area, among others. This agreement will significantly increase Ghana's oil and gas production, thereby enhancing energy security, domestic demand, and infrastructure development. Mr. Speaker, we are on course to revitalize the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company through a strategic partnership with the National Petroleum Authority, Ghana Gas, and the Ghana Commercial Bank. This will boost production, ensure a steady supply of safe LPG cylinders, and strengthen local manufacturing. Mr. Speaker, I'm also pleased to announce to you that Tema Oil Refinery is back. The new management of the refinery has successfully completed extensive turnaround maintenance. And I'm pleased to inform you that this August House that for the first time since 2018, the refinery has commenced processing of crude oil into petroleum products again. So, Mr. Speaker,
let me assure our countrymen and women that the energy sector reforms continue unabated. I remain fully committed to turning around the sector, strengthening its foundations, and ensuring reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy security for our nation. Mr. Speaker, agriculture remains central to our national renewal. Since January 2025, this administration has embarked on a decisive reset of Ghana's agricultural sector under our Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda, with the Feed Ghana program serving as the flagship vehicle for implementation. Our objective is clear: to restore food sovereignty, stabilize food prices, reduce import dependence, increase decent jobs, especially for youth, and reposition agri as a strategic growth sector under our 24-hour economy policy. Mr. Speaker, as of January 2025, food inflation stood at 28.3%, following an unprecedented peak of 61% in January 2023. This situation placed severe pressure on households and undermined national stability. Today, food inflation has declined significantly to 4.9%, and this has provided relief to Ghanaian families and businesses. Mr. Speaker, this year we have committed 300 million Ghana cedis to the National Food Buffer Stock Company to mop up excess produce, to stabilize prices,
and build a strategic national food buffer against emergencies, marking the first time Ghana has deliberately built a food reserve for national resilience. Over 413 institutions from basic schools through to tertiary institutions have been registered and are actively participating in the Feed Ghana program. Institutional farming is currently being undertaken by the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Prison Service, the National Service Authority, basic and second cycle schools, public universities, and faith-based organizations, including churches and mosques. A key pillar of the Feed Ghana program is the home gardening initiative. Across the country, families are being encouraged to grow vegetables at home and in their communities to reduce food expenditure, improve household nutrition, and enhance food availability. The Feed Ghana program is also firmly anchored on irrigation for wealth creation. Government is deliberately shifting our agriculture from rain-fed dependence to irrigation-based farming to support year-round production and also strengthen our climate resilience. And so over the past months, processes have begun for the following interventions: the construction of 2 new mega dams, the rehabilitation of 8 existing irrigation dams, and the construction of 250 solar-powered boreholes for farming communities and schools across the Northern Belt and Brong-Ahafo regions. In addition, major irrigation schemes, including the Via, Weta, Tanoso, Bong, Ashaman, and Aveime, are undergoing rehabilitation. While new inland valleys covering over 1,300 hectares are being developed to expand rice production. Under the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program, we've launched a 20 million agro-input distribution project to strengthen food and nutrition security across the northern Savannah ecological zone. This project is being implemented in 12 districts across 6 regions with a target of 50,000 farming households, including 30,000 women and youth. It will support the production of key staples such as maize, rice, soya bean, cowpea, granules, while promoting year-round vegetable cultivation through solar-powered micro-irrigation schemes for farmers groups and selected schools. The project is also supporting backyard and commercial poultry production, as well as the distribution of fertilizer and certified seeds to participating districts. This will help strengthen the poultry value chain. We are working to fulfill the promise of establishing farmer service centers across the country to modernize agriculture. Procurement processes are underway for a total of 660 tractors, 400 combine harvesters, and other agricultural equipment and implements. The first 11 farmer service centers will begin construction this year and will provide affordable access to land preparation, harvesting, storage, input supply, extension services, and equipment leasing, especially for smallholder farmers. Mr. Speaker, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to cut short for the first farmer service center in the Afram Plains. Mr. Speaker, agricultural extension remains the backbone of productivity, and to address the current gap between farmers and extension officers, 540 motorbikes have been procured to improve extension coverage. 150 of those bikes have already been distributed, and we're employing 400 Feed Ghana district coordinators nationwide, while 10,000 young Ghanaians are being enrolled under a 4-year national service agripreneurial program with annual absorption into permanent employment. So far, 3,000 youth have been posted by the National Service Authority under the agripreneur program. This intervention is strengthening frontline service delivery and creating employment opportunities for young people. We're also placing farmer cooperatives at the center of our agricultural transformation plan. As of October 2025, 70,000 community commodity-focused farmers cooperatives had been established nationwide. And they are serving as platforms to access inputs, mechanization services, climate advisories, aggregation, and fair market negotiation. Government is actively linking farmers to agro-industrial investments to stabilize prices, create jobs, and accelerate Ghana's journey towards food security. A major highlight of this effort is the 154 million Ghana-Italy irrigated commercial farming project to establish a 10,000-hectare irrigation model farm to produce rice, maize, soya, and tomatoes. All produce from this project will be sold locally. This intervention is strategic and designed to fast-track progress towards food security, ensure a reliable supply of raw materials for agro-processing, and reduce Ghana's dependence on food imports. Mr. Speaker, other key initiatives under the Value Addition and Agro-Industrial Drive include rice processing facilities in the Upper East and Upper West regions, poultry feed production facilities in Ashanti, cashew and onion processing facilities in Bono East. In addition, a 40-ton per day soya processing plant is being established in northern Ghana to support soya bean farmers and reduce their feed costs. The share industry is also being revived through secured export contracts and measures to protect raw material supplies. Mr. Speaker, to reduce Ghana's 300 to 400 million annual poultry import bill, Ghana has launched a comprehensive poultry farm-to-table project. These comprise 50 anchor or commercial farmers producing 4 million birds, 500 SMEs producing 3 million birds, and a small-scale Nkokon Kitinkiti backyard and a small-scale Nkokon Kitinkiti backyard poultry program that is targeting 3 million birds nationwide, with emphasis on women and young children. Mr. Speaker, the Nkokon Kitinkiti program is underway as I speak, and the target is to reach 60,000 households. Even before I launched the Nkokon Kitinkiti program, 720 birds had been distributed during the pilot phase to 13,000 farmers in 12 districts. I recently opened a poultry processing factory in Bichim to support expected production growth in the poultry sector. Mr. Speaker, education is important, and it remains pivotal to our national transformation agenda. In this regard, the year 2025 was both eventful and momentous for Ghana's education sector. I'm pleased to report that all the flagship initiatives and commitments that were contained in our Reset Agenda Manifesto have been faithfully honored during the year under review. The No Fee Stress initiative was successfully launched in Koforidua, and as I speak has benefited over 152,000 young people, first-year students in public tertiary universities. The number of beneficiaries this year is projected to reach 220,000 first-year students. In collaboration with the Student Loan Trust Fund, I have good news for law students. Law students in Ghana will also be now able to access the student loan scheme to pursue their legal education. Mr. Speaker, the free tertiary education policy for persons with disability has also been launched and is now fully benefiting all eligible persons with disabilities enrolled in our tertiary institutions nationwide. Mr. Speaker, the 2025 academic year saw a stable, uninterrupted supply of quality food to all our schools under the free senior high school program. Mr. Speaker, to further deepen coordination, accountability, and effectiveness in the education sector, this Honorable House passed several important pieces of legislation. These include: 1, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Bill 2025, the Ghana Scholarships Authority Bill 2025, the Change of University Names Bill 2025, the University for Development Studies Bill 2025, and the Ghana Education Trust Fund Bill 2025. To enhance private sector participation in the tertiary education sector, new legislation will be introduced in this House to ease regulatory bottlenecks and remove the requirement to charter, making it optional. Mr. Speaker, basic education remains the critical entry point into our education system. It is at this level that children acquire foundational literacy, numeracy, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills, upon which all future learning depends. Government understands the importance of the basic sector and is therefore undertaking a major policy shift to rebalance our education investments in favor of basic education. As part of this shift, the standards-based curriculum for kindergarten to primary 6 is currently under review to incorporate robotics, coding, and the responsible integration of generative artificial intelligence. Additionally, as part of the ongoing curriculum review, artificial intelligence education will be introduced at an age appropriate and developmentally sensitive, with a strong emphasis on ethical use, digital responsibility, critical thinking, and human values. Mr. Speaker, in response to the persisting challenge of schools under trees, this government has programmed a bold and decisive intervention for the 2026 financial year. This includes the construction of 200 kindergarten blocks, 200 new primary school blocks, 200 new junior high schools nationwide. And I'm further pleased to inform this House adequate allocation has been done in the 2026 budget. I'm further pleased to inform this House that the government has fully cleared all outstanding capitation grant arrears owed to the public basic schools, as well as clearing all outstanding arrears of BEC exam registration subsidies due to the West African Exams Council. For previous years, the legacy debts to West African Examinations Council have all been cleared. Mr. Speaker, education for learners with special needs is not only a moral right, but also a sound, pragmatic investment. And it promotes equity and strengthens social cohesion. In recognition of this, the amended Get Fund Act has established a dedicated, sustainable funding framework to implement free education for learners with special needs, beginning in the 2026 academic year. Government has also increased the daily feeding grant for students in public special schools from 8 cedis per day to 15 cedis per day. This significant increment reflects our resolve to address the unique nutritional and health needs of learners with disability. In addition, Mr. Speaker, we'll construct a modern state-of-the-art special needs school in Ho in the Volta region, and we'll rehabilitate and upgrade the existing special needs schools in Okropong, Ekwapim, in fulfillment of our pledge also to provide free sanitary pads to schoolgirls as part of efforts to improve menstrual hygiene and reduce absenteeism among female learners. A total of 12.2 million packets of sanitary pads were distributed to girls in public schools across the country in 2025. Mr. Speaker, we allocated in this year's budget 292.4 million Ghana cedis to sustain the free sanitary pad initiative. This commitment aims to remove gender-specific barriers to education and ensure that no girl's education is interrupted due to challenges related to her menstrual hygiene. Mr. Speaker, as part of efforts to decongest senior high schools and increase access and ensure parity in educational opportunities, government is going to convert and upgrade 30 Category C secondary schools to Category B, and convert and upgrade 10 Category B schools to Category A. In addition, facilities in Category A schools are going to be upgraded and expanded to be able to take in more children. Technical and vocational education and training remain a critical pillar of our strategy to address youth unemployment and accelerate skills development. Government will construct 6 brand new regional TVET centers of excellence across the country to equip our young people with practical, industry-relevant skills aligned with the demands of the evolving job market. We're also undertaking a review of the national curriculum to align with the OECD Future of Education and Skills Framework This will make TVET education more adaptive and resilient. Mr. Speaker, to expand access to higher education and support balanced regional growth and meet the rising demand for quality tertiary education, we've entered international partnerships to establish two new public universities, one in Kentapor in the Bono East region, another in Jasikan in the Oti region. I'm happy to announce also that a grant has been sourced from China to establish a new public university in Damango in the Savannah region. Mr. Speaker, technical universities play a critical role in closing the skills gap and reducing youth unemployment by delivering high-quality, industry-aligned and practice-oriented training within a broader policy framework that stimulates labor demand. In this regard, government is going to establish 3 new technical universities to strengthen skills development, enhance innovation, and support national industrialization efforts. Mr. Speaker, the Teachers Housing Initiative is a joint effort involving district assemblies, Common Fund, Get Fund, NAT, and JESOPs. And the aim is to build 50,000 housing units for teachers. This initiative is called the Teacher Dabre, maybe a Teacher Beda. This partnership demonstrates our collective dedication to enhancing teachers' living conditions and boosting the retention of teachers, especially in rural and remote areas, and ensuring that teachers can live, work, and retire with dignity and security. Mr. Speaker, by prioritizing equitable access and expanding infrastructure, we're investing in human capital and laying the foundation for a Ghana where every child can learn, grow, and succeed. Mr. Speaker, our health system. By January 2025, our health system was under severe strain. Aging and deteriorating equipment, stalled hospital projects amounting to 15 billion Ghana cedis in liabilities, and growing workforce pressures had weakened service delivery. Over the past year, donor support to our health sector declined sharply from 19% of our total health budget to just 2.2% today, creating an annual financing gap of more than 2.4 billion Ghana cedis. The withdrawal of support from programs previously financed by partners such as the USAID exposed the vulnerability in essential supplies and services, particularly in remote and underserved communities. Faced with these realities, my government chose to act decisively. In 2026, direct government funding for health will account for about 72% of our total health spending. This is up from 56.8% in 2023. Core health allocations have risen to GHS 23.3 billion, and with national health insurance resources included, total health financing now stands at 34.7 billion Ghana cedis. This reflects our clear commitment to domestic financing and health sovereignty. At the same time, we have faced the growing burden of non-communicable diseases. Today, non-communicable diseases account for over 40% of all deaths in Ghana and remain a major cause of household poverty. To address this, the government established the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, otherwise called Mahama Cares. Mr. Speaker, this is the first nationwide financing mechanism dedicated to chronic and non-communicable diseases. Mr. Speaker, the National Health Insurance Levy has been uncapped. Claims payments are now timely, with facilities no longer waiting more than 6 months as happened in the past for payment to be made. We're also finalizing measures to increase provider tariffs by over 100% to reflect the realistic cost of health treatment. As a result of the increased trust, NHIS enrollment has risen from 57% at the start of 2025 to 66% today. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's health workforce density has risen from 16.6% per 10,000 people in 2025 to nearly 42 per 10,000 today, while public sector health employment has doubled to approximately 200,000 workers. And yet, significant challenges remain. At the beginning of 2025, when we took over, 103,000 trained health workers were still awaiting placement, employment or enrollment onto the payroll. Over the past year, 13,500 nurses and midwives, along with hundreds of doctors and pharmacists, have been absorbed into the public payroll. Nursing trainee allowances have been regularized and restored. Application fees have been reduced, and the no-fee stress initiative introduced to ease access to training has been extended. Service conditions are being implemented to boost morale and retention. Looking ahead, government will expand recruitment and take necessary action to add more health workers onto the payroll. We will also correct the maldistribution of health workers through targeted incentives for health workers who agree to serve in underserved areas. Let me use this opportunity to appeal to our gallant health workers to accept postings to our underserved areas, seeing as it is a national call to duty, while we work to ensure that they have an enabling environment to do their work. Mr. Speaker, we will also scale up specialist and advanced nursing training to match the country's changing disease profile. New post-basic nursing programs in cardiology, nephrology, endocrinology, and oncology will be introduced. While the two existing ones, emergency and critical care nurses, will be scaled up. At least 30 nursing training institutions will transition to competency-based degree curriculums, supported by new scholarship opportunities for PhD-level training for nurses and allied health professionals. Mr. Speaker, on health infrastructure, my government remains firm in its commitment not to abandon unfinished projects. We will continue to retool facilities, strengthen emergency and disease surveillance systems, and ensure that health infrastructure is properly aligned with staffing, equipment, and financing. In 2026 budget, provision has been made to commence regional hospitals in Oti, Savannah, and the Western North regions. This will expand access to quality care. Aligned with the reset agenda, we're making strategic investments in local pharmaceutical and vaccine production. The government has allocated 50 million in seed funding to the National Vaccine Institute. And in 2025, a local manufacturer secured market authorization to produce snake venom antiserum right here in Ghana. We're also finalizing steps to implement an advanced market commitment to prioritize locally manufactured vaccines and pharmaceuticals in public procurement. Production of the tetanus diphtheria vaccine is expected to commence this year through a partnership with an Indonesian pharmaceutical firm. Disease control remains our priority in our country's immunization financing. We will strengthen immunization financing. In 2025, the vaccine budget for children and pregnant women was increased by 46%, exceeding the 171 million Ghana cedis. And this enabled Ghana to fully and promptly finance all its vaccines and reduce the risk of preventable outbreaks. In 2025, we also introduced the HPV vaccine to protect young women and girls against cervical cancer. Mr. Speaker, Ghana's HIV prevalence rate is estimated at 1.6%. And as I speak with you, there are about 350,000 of our countrymen and women living with HIV and AIDS. Mr. Speaker, although prevalence is low, some population segments and regions have significantly higher incidence than the national average. The Ghana AIDS Commission has been tasked with ensuring the availability of testing and antiretrovirals. This year, government will fully roll out a free primary health care program, removing all cost barriers at the primary level where it is most needed. while strengthening prevention, screening, and health promotion, especially for non-communicable diseases. The Ghana Medical Trust Fund will be scaled up, and access to advanced cardiac care, including cardiac catheterization services at Tamale, Kolebu, and Komfo-Anokye Hospital, will be expanded to reduce overseas referrals and position Ghana as a center for specialized care in the sub-region, in line with our medical tourism objectives. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Health is expected to issue guidelines to eliminate the unacceptable no-bed syndrome. Patients facing medical emergencies must be received and given help, if even under makeshift conditions. You don't need to have a comfortable bed to save a patient. No patient must be turned away from any health facility they report to. Mr. Speaker, but in the meantime, government will expand capacity by implementing the Rich Hospital Phase 2 project to increase the number of beds at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. We will also continue and complete the Police Hospital project, and also continue and complete the La General Hospital. Mr. Speaker, in the Ashanti region, we will complete the Sewa Regional Hospital. We will complete the Aferi Military Hospital. And we will complete the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital Maternity and Children's Block. Mr. Speaker, we remain on course to build a stronger, more resilient, and more self-reliant health system for all Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, roads are a very important sector. We inherited a burden of significant financial obligations and structural pressures in the road sector that had accumulated over the years. As of December 2024, outstanding payments on road projects financed through the consolidated fund stood at 21 billion Ghana cedis. These were certified works executed by contractors across the country for which payments had not been made. In addition, indebtedness to contractors that was lodged with the Ghana Road Fund Secretariat and awaiting payment amounted to 5.43 billion Ghana cedis. This figure excludes accruing interest charges, which continue to compound the state's financial exposure. Mr. Speaker, beyond these areas, we inherited also contractual commitments, that is, signed contracts, totaling more than 104 billion Ghana cedis. These commitments represent signed contracts for road projects at various stages of execution, many of them without corresponding secured funding to guarantee timely completion. By the end of 2025, the Ministry of Finance and Roads had cleared arrears amounting to almost 10 billion Ghana cedis owed to road contractors. And we are steadily continuing to reduce the road sector debts. Mr. Speaker, the famous Big Push infrastructure program. This is my vision for a national infrastructure drive to restore critical national infrastructure. Naturally, the bulk of the money is dedicated to the road sector. We want to open economic corridors, create jobs, and reduce the cost of doing business. Mr. Speaker, as I speak to you, work has started on 50 major road projects that cover a distance of 1,144 kilometers. The total estimated cost of these projects is 50 billion Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, government is also completing 23 projects that were awarded by the previous administration but were not paid for. These projects amount to another 573 kilometers and are estimated to cost 15 billion cedis. So if you add that to the 1,500, it means about 2,000 kilometers of roads are currently undergoing rehabilitation as I speak. This is the biggest major investment in our road sector in the history of Ghana. Across all 16 regions, 73 projects are advancing with significant visible progress expected by the end of the year. Some of these include Tepamaban-Goso, the Kumasi Bypass Road, Swami Interchange and Local Roads, Sunyani Outer Ring Road, Sampa Jinijini Road, Techima Nkonsia Winchi Road, dualization of Winneba Cape Coast Road, Kwau Tafo Adosu Road, Dodowa Afienya Dawenya, Bintiri Nakwanduri, Tamale Outer Ring Road, Winchi Sola, Sola Wa, Bole Chache, Bole Town Roads, Navrongo Tumu, Tumu Han Lora, Atimpoku Ho, Ho Denu, dualization of Accra Aflao, dualization of Cape Coast Akrade, Dadieso Akontombra, to name just a few. Mr. Speaker, other feeder roads are Akosombo Jakiti Kudupe, Kudikope, Yeniam Junction Sedom, Apegusum Pakadan, Todome to Palime Gemini Road. Indeed, there are many others too numerous to mention. And as I said at the launch of the Big Push program, the whole of Ghana is going to become a construction site. And Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians can already testify that serious road works are underway across the country. Mr. Speaker, the Accra-Kumasi Expressway will be a 198.7 kilometer, 6-lane high-speed motorway. This expressway is designed to connect Ghana's two largest cities, Accra and Kumasi, and to reduce the traveling time between Accra and Kumasi to approximately 2.5 hours. Mr. Speaker, this new alignment will have 8 interchanges and will be Ghana's first true expressway. And so government has established the Accra-Kumasi Expressway Limited, which is a subsidiary of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, as the concessionaire that will be mandated to design, to finance, construct, operate, and maintain the expressway, with the Ministry of Roads and Highways as the contracting authority. The project delivery is structured as a long-term concession of up to 50 years. Mr. Speaker, this expressway will be Ghana's first purpose-built expressway with limited access points, so goats and sheep cannot cross at any point. Mr. Speaker, it's designed for higher speed limits and modern safety infrastructure to reduce travel time and improve road safety. Preparatory activities including feasibility studies, the detailed designs and cost assessments are currently underway. This major road construction work aims to improve mobility, safety, and trade while connecting communities to markets and essential services. Mr. Speaker, the Eastern Corridor. We aim to complete all unfinished segments of the Eastern Corridor Road by the end of 2027. Mr. Speaker, we'll continue and complete the 27.7 Accra-Tema Motorway and Extension Project. And this includes reconstructing the Accra-Tema Motorway into a 4-lane expressway with 3-lane service roads in both directions, and interchanges at Ashaman, where you have the Ashaman underbridge. It will now be an interchange. There will be another interchange at Community 18 and Teshi Link. Mr. Speaker, it also involves remodeling the Tetekwashi interchange. Construction works are ongoing and progress is at 32%. Mr. Speaker, other important projects include the Kumasi Inner Ring Road, the Volivo Bridge over the Southern Volta River, the Dambai Bridge over the River Oti, and the Adoso Bridge over the River Afram at Eche Amanfrom. Mr. Speaker, this ministry, the Ministry of Roads, has received cabinet approval to reintroduce road tolls on our roads and our bridges. Mr. Speaker, this time using advanced technology to improve efficiency, transparency, and avoid leakages in revenue generation. Preparatory work is underway to ensure the reintroduction of tolling operations this year. Mr. Speaker, there is no doubt that an effective and efficient transport system is integral to any economic development plan. So to improve public transport services in the country, government is supporting Intercity SCC Coaches Limited, Metro Mass Transit Limited, and the private road transport operators to renew their fleet. Currently, a total of 300 buses have been procured to improve road transport. The initial batch of 100 buses is scheduled to arrive in the country by the end of the first quarter of this year. Mr. Speaker, in fulfillment of my pledge to re-establish a national airline, a 10-member task force established to oversee this initiative has submitted a business model and operational framework to guide the selection of a strategic partner for the new national airline. And this new national airline will take off soon, inshallah. Mr. Speaker, passenger traffic handled by the Ghana Airports Company increased to 3.625 million passengers in 2025. This was an increase from 3.4 million in 2024. In response to the rising passenger traffic and congestion at the Accra International Airport's new Terminal 3, we are remodeling Terminal 2 into a dual-purpose facility to serve both domestic and international flights. So, when the remodeling of Terminal 2 is finished, all the domestic flights and some of the international flights will be moved to Terminal 2 so that we ease the congestion on Terminal 3. This will improve operational efficiency and enhance the overall passenger experience. Mr. Speaker, Accra's Terminal 3 remains amongst the best in Africa. A new concourse will link Terminal 2 and Terminal 3 so that passengers arriving in Terminal 2 and having to move to Terminal 3 won't have to come out and walk. They'll go through the concourse. Mr. Speaker, Terminal 3 is going to be supported by a new 7-story floor car park. It will also have an airport hotel and retail amenities to service the passengers. Mr. Speaker, runway expansion and overlay is currently being undertaken to strengthen the Accra International Airport's runway. Mr. Speaker, we will also begin work on new regional airports in Sunyani, in Bolgatanga, and Wa. In Sunyani, the current location of the airport is not appropriate to extend the runway, and so we have to move and build a new airport at a different location. Bolgatanga, the site has been acquired and work will commence. Wa also, we have to move the airport from where it is because it almost intersects the road and the airport slopes upwards, making it inappropriate for air travel. Mr. Speaker, we are also reverting the airport in Accra, the international airport in Accra, to its original name, the Accra International Airport. Even though NLC Decree 129 was passed, no effort or nothing was done to effect the clause in the decree that said that the airport should be renamed after Kotoka. So in all international records in ICAO and IATA, that airport in Accra, the international airport, remains named Accra International Airport. Mr. Speaker, we are working to fully operationalize the Tema-Mpakadang rail line to maximize passenger and freight traffic between Tema and the north using the Volta Lake Waterway. The Western and Eastern Railway lines will continue to be modernized in partnership with the private sector.
These projects are aimed to support the efficient transport of container and bulk cargo to and from our ports, as well as to facilitate the efficient haulage of minerals from mines in Usuta, Awaso, and Yinahin to the Takrady ports, while also providing passenger transport along the respective rail corridors. Mr. Speaker, as part of the 24-hour economy initiative, a new 24-hour operation has started at Tema Port, allowing access to port services around the clock. This development enables importers to clear their goods at any time, significantly easing congestion at the terminals like the transit terminals, the reefer terminal, and the Golden Jubilee terminal. The initiative brings together customs, banking, and other relevant agencies to enhance efficiency, low transaction costs, and boost Ghana's competitiveness as a major trade hub. Cabinet has reviewed the designs and feasibility study for the Keta Port and directed the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to present an action plan and a roadmap for the realization of the project at the earliest possible time.
TV, any radio, any YouTube, or assassin, or with me, a tears as the mouth. So, what take a crab of president. The lady also wants some cry, a catch them. It will be a what they are not force of family, no food needs of family. Of your one uncle.
I was a baby. What your park Google now Google about pals and Coco. The brain one shut down TSC. And all paramedics now make sure say this is tropical, this is about Africa. So let it once and why you are the yes area, but the original Coco president.
Yes, one penny with those other ones.
Coco TVGH. Ope be beer wa santimem, say news, say sports, say entertainment, BBR. Our santimai Coco TVGH. I'm telling you, Olelogo. Jenny Egbe, your Coco TVGH. Barobagwa Coco TVGH. No size, Egbe. G.